We are starting today operating system security. This is the section number 2 inside offensive security, and we have introduction to operating system security. Every day you use a smartphone or laptop or almost any type of computer, you interact directly or indirectly with an operating system. Operating systems include Microsoft Windows, macOS, iOS, Android, Chrome OS, and Linux. But what is an operating system? To define an operating system, we need to visit one computer term, which is hardware. Computer hardware refers to all the components, parts, all the computer parts and peripherals that you can touch with your hand. Everything that you can see and touch, basically, let's say at a really high level. Hardware includes the screen, keyboard, printer, USB flash memory, and the desktop board. As shown in the figure below, here we can see a motherboard with all the components installed. We can see the memory, RAM memory, we can see the CPU cooler. Below it or inside it is the CPU. Here are the other peripherals like the audio peripherals and stuff like that. As shown in the figure below, the desktop board contains many components, in particular a central processing unit, which is the CPU, a memory chip, although not shown in the image below. We can see only the slots, memory slots, RAM slots, it's the same thing. We don't see the CPU, we'll see only the CPU cooling system, which may be integrated or adopted like a separate thing. Although not shown in the image below, the desktop board is usually connected to a storage device, HDD, hard disk drive, or solid state drive. The desktop board is the main part of a computer, and all the other pieces of hardware from keyboard and mouse to screen and printer connect to it. However, hardware components by themselves are useless if you want to run your favorite programs and applications. We need an operating system to control and drive them. Here we see, let's say, the two main parts that construct any type of electronic device. We see a software and we see hardware. Inside the software, we see programs like browsers, Microsoft Office, WhatsApp, communication applications, and stuff like that, email systems and stuff like that. We see operating systems, which we read above, Microsoft Windows, Android, macOS, iOS, Ubuntu, and so on, and hardware, which is the CPU, memory, storage, screen, keyboard, and so on. This diagram simply shows you that the hardware part needs the software part in order to function. Otherwise, it's just a thing there without doing anything. The operating system is the layer sitting between the hardware and the applications and programs you are running. Example programs you will use daily might include a web browser such as Firefox, Safari, and Chrome, and a messaging app such as Signal, WhatsApp, and Telegram. All the programs and applications cannot run directly on the computer hardware, however, they run on top of the operating system. The operating systems allow these programs to access the hardware according to specific rules. So operating systems are designed to run on laptops and personal desktops such as Microsoft Windows 11 and macOS. Other operating systems are designed specifically for smartphones such as Android and iOS. There are also operating systems intended for servers. Examples include Microsoft Server 2022, IBM AEX, and Oracle Solaris. Finally, there are operating systems that you can use on a personal computer and server. One example is Linux. The image below shows the popularity of the different operating systems used by browsers, the internet according to StatCounter based on data collected during January 2022. We can see a lot of operating system market share worldwide. Android, so phones are the majority, have the majority of usage from this pie chart, and then it's Windows, we see iOS, and then let's say the others. Your smartphone might run Android or iOS, and you might have plenty of private data on it. Examples include private conversation with your family and friends, private photos and with family and friends, email client that you use for personal and work communications, password saved in the web browser or even in notes, e-banking apps, and so on. The list of confidential and private data goes on. You don't want someone you don't trust to open your phone and go through your phone's conversations and apps. Hence, you need to secure your phone and its operating system. The same goes for your laptop or computer running Microsoft, macOS, or Linux. Your computer will most likely contain plenty of information such as confidential files related to work or university, private personal files such as copy of your ID or a passport, email programs such as Outlook and Mozilla, Thunderbird, password saved in the web browser and other data and other apps, copy of digital camera and smartphone photos. The list can get very long depending on the type of user, and considering the nature of the saved data, you want to ensure that your data is secure. When we talk about security, we should think of protecting three things: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. CIA. For short, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality, in other words, you want to ensure that secret and private files and information are only available to intended person. Integrity. It is crucial that no one can tamper with the files stored on your system or while being transferred on the network. And availability, you want your laptop or smartphone to be available to use anytime you decide to use it. In the next task, we will discuss common attacks against these security pillars. Answer the questions below. Which of the following is not an operating system? AEX, Android, Chrome OS, Solaris, and Thunderbird. You can just search for keywords, search for these keywords, and you will see that we read about them in this section. For AEX, Android, Phone OS, Chrome OS, Solaris OS, and Thunderbird. If you check for Thunderbird, you can see here email programs such as Outlook and Mozilla Thunderbird. To be honest, I never use Thunderbird, but I'll say here Thunderbird because it's an email client. It's not an operating system.